Brad, back to you. Over to you.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I wanted to give you another crack on Syria from yesterday. Do you want to see the regime retake Palmyra? Or would you prefer that it stays in Daesh's hands?
That's truly so we get a political process underway and deepen and strengthen the cessation of hostilities into a real ceasefire, and then we.
You're not answering my question.
I know I'm not. I'm giving you a broader view.
Okay.
And Brad, back to you. Over to you. I'm sorry.
I wanted to give you another crack on Syria from yesterday. It seems that the Syrian army, backed by the Russians, has pushed into Palmyra now. Are you hoping that they push Daesh out of the city, or do you have no position on who controls the city and its ancient ruins?
Thank you for giving me another crack. A do-over, right? So a couple thoughts. First of all, as you well know, and I think didn't you travel to Palmyra at one point? Yeah.
Palmyra, yes.
I mean, it's a long-suffering place. And, ISIL invaded the city in 2015. The Assad regime responded with increased airstrikes, causing many civilian casualties. It suffered from ISIL's atrocities, and that includes the gruesome murder last August of Khaled Assad, and the secretary has spoken about this. He was beheaded. Its history and culture have been systematically wiped out by ISIL. It looted, which has looted its historical sites. All of that under consideration, we, of course, our priority, and I said this yesterday, is defeating and destroying Daesh. That remains our priority. And yet, we also recognize that replacing Daesh's barbaric rule with Assad's tyranny is not a great trade-off or a great solution. The Syrian people should not have to decide between ISIL and Assad. And that's, again, what I was trying to convey yesterday, which speaks to the fact that that's why we need to advance this UN-led negotiations. We need to establish a ceasefire. We need to end the civil war, get a transitional government into place, and then we can talk about cooperation against Daesh.
It just seems a little strange because two of the things we've heard over the last many months was, one, that Assad wasn't fighting Daesh properly and that he was mainly fighting the moderate Syrian opposition.
True.
And that carried over to what the Russians were doing as well.
And that's true.
So now they seem to be doing some of that. Shouldn't that be lauded in your estimation? And then the second thing was that, well, you can answer the first thing while I remember the second.
So I'm not going to laud it. And I'm not going to laud it because it's important to remember that one of the reasons Daesh is in Syria is because Assad's brutal crackdown on his own people created the kind of vacuum, if you will, that has allowed a group like ISIL or Daesh to flourish. Just because he's now given the cessation of hostilities, willing and or able to divert his forces to take on Daesh, doesn't exonerate him or his regime from, the gross abuses that they've carried out against Syrian people. Again, it reflects, I think, the complex state of affairs that is Syria today. And it's why we need a political transition away from Assad to a transitional government that's supported by all the Syrian people, because we do have to deal with Daesh. So at the same time we support any effort to destroy or dismantle Daesh, I think we have to keep our eyes on the longer term goal, which is a peaceful transition, political future for the people in Syria.